How's it going, everybody? Thanks for coming back for another episode. Episode number 1 seems to be a hit, so we're going to continue on with it with episode 2. So today's ride is going to be on the red one. So let's get on the road and we'll talk about the stimulus package. Like I said, I am so glad each and every one of you came back. I'm glad, I'm tickled that you liked the first episode. And like I figured, it was a little bit controversial. You know, a lot of people are very, very tired of hearing about the election. And I understand that. But the main point was to tell everyone not to get worked up, that there is legitimate allegations, and to just let things play out the way they play out. Whoever ends up being in office, whoever is in office, there's nothing that we can really do at this point to do anything about it. Now, that said, let's talk about the $900 billion with a B, that's right, $1 billion stimulus package. The last one that we got was back in April. I forgot, it was over $1 trillion. I forgot the exact amount, and it's really not important at this point how much it was, but it was a lot. We got $1,200 per individual in the household, and then, you know, some per child, and it was up to like $700 locally added on to unemployment. Okay, well, that was great, because let's face it, you know, when the pandemic hit, a lot of states, most of the states as a matter of fact, shut down. They told everybody to stay at home, you know, don't be in crowds, social distance, wear a mask, all that good stuff. And that was great, and it worked out. But at the same point, we had millions of people lose their jobs. They've lost their businesses because of the shutdown and everything. And certain states, a lot of states, are still refusing to let businesses open back up. Now, you can go to a strip club in the middle of the night, 2 a.m., but you can't go to church. You can't dine outside. What in the world is, what hypocrisy is that? You can't go eat, you can't go do anything like that, but you can go to a strip club 2 o'clock in the morning. That makes a whole heck of a lot of sense. So with that said, I'll leave that part alone. And that's a whole separate video about governors and situations and hypocrisy of them not abiding by their own rules, their own standards. It's coming, don't worry, it's coming. But I just wanted to get the stimulus package out there, because I mentioned it in my last video, and I've had somebody ask me to do a video on it, so that's what I'm doing. Now, like I told you in the last video also, no matter what anybody tells you, always go back and double check. You'll have the left, you'll have the right, and the truth is always in the middle somewhere. Well, lo and behold, some of the truth has come out. So what has happened is we now have a $900 billion, almost $1 million, stimulus package approved. Well, it's still going through being approved, but by all standards, it's going to be happening. The last one we got was in April, and we was promised a second one, you know, several months later, but here we are going into the new year, and it hasn't happened up until now. And there's a reason for that, and I'm going to tell you. Some of you may not agree with it. I appreciate that, but this is my opinion, and I've looked into it, and, you know, things are what things are. So, what happened? Trump's been in office since, you know, 2016. The Democrats have been doing everything they can, I mean everything they can, to get him out of office. Now, sure, he's not a friendly person. He's brash, he's harsh. I consider him pompous, I consider him arrogant. You know, it's all about him. But with that said, he has done a lot of great things about the country, or for the country. And I will just stop with that. But this goes back to the stimulus package. Congress, being led by the Democrats, have consistently fought with the Republicans, not wanting to work with them. Now, I know the Republicans, before you get in a tizzy, has not also wanted to work with the Democrats. The Democrats want certain things, the Republicans want certain things, and they just weren't willing to compromise. Well, now that we are at the compromisation stage, come to find out it is almost exactly what the Republicans wrote and asked for in the very beginning, back in July. That's right, back in July, the Republicans almost word for word asked for what is in the stimulus package. Now, there's some beef in the stimulus package that I don't like, and we'll get to that in just a minute. But what is the difference? Nancy Pelosi and her crew has now all of a sudden decided that it is okay for everything to be the way it is. Why? In her own words, we now have a different president.
What has shifted now when they're on board with this piece that's come out of the Senate?
Perhaps you missed what I said earlier. Joe Biden committed to ending and crushing the virus. What was then before was not more of this. This has simplicity. It's what we've had in our bills. It's for a shorter period of time, but that's okay now because we have a new president.
That is why she is wanting to do this bill now. It has nothing to do with anything being different. It has nothing to do with any changes. No quid pro quo, no we traded this for that. It's none of that stuff. All it is Nancy Pelosi withheld the money specifically to hurt Trump, his campaign election, his him basically to the last ditch effort to keep him from becoming president. Now, like I just played you heard it in her own words. If you listen to the very last piece of that snid bit, the reason she did it was we now have a different president. That tells you everything you need to know right there. So that's the reason, that's the bulk of the reason. Now, like I said, it is shared by both sides. The responsibility, the blame, the Republicans could have gave in some, the Democrats could have gave in some. But I'm here to tell you, no matter what they would have gave in on, it would have not got past Congress until after the election, period. If you notice, right after the election happened, and right after the states signed off on their electoral votes, oh, Nancy Pelosi, all of a sudden we're going to stay till through Christmas vacation, and we're going to get this done. We're going to stay until this gets done. Well, why did that not happen the rest of the year? When businesses were going under, you were making hundreds of millions of American patriots stay at home, not know where their car payments coming from, their house payments coming from, their kids' food. Where was you at during all of this? Well, if you look, Nancy Pelosi showing off her $12 a gallon ice cream coming out of her $20,000 refrigerator. And not only does she have one, she has two of them.
This is something you can get through the mail.
Okay.
You never run out. Now show
me.
you?
Yeah, absolutely. This is the episode of Cribs I never knew I needed. Oh my, wow.
Other people in our family go for some other flavors, but chocolate, and then we have some other chocolate here.
See, I've always felt a connection with you, and now I understand why.
Mm-hmm.
Since you've been isolating in your house, how much of your regular diet do you think is ice cream and candy?
Well, as much as possible.
Sitting side by side, two $20,000 refrigerators slammed full of food that you can see in this video where she is bragging about her ice cream. Oh, this stuff is just simply the best. While you have millions of Americans sitting out there in food drive lines trying to get enough food to make it from week to week, not knowing where their next meal, their next paycheck's coming from. It just gripes me to no end at the hypocrisy these people do. They tell you to shut down and you can't do this, but yet we see them going out to eat without masks on at these diners and stuff. We see them going in the hair salons to get their hair done. The hypocrisy of all this. Now again, like I said, Mitch McConnell in the Senate could have made a deal. You know, he could have conceded. The Republicans could have done this. The Republicans could have done that. But when it is in plain sight of what's going on, what is happening, why? Why would you want to? And one of the biggest stipulations that changed, that is one of the best, it's a hard spot. And here's what it is, okay? One of the things that the Democrats wanted in, and the Republicans did not, was for illegal immigrants, people who broke the law, who came here illegally, the Democrats wanted them to get the same stimulus package that American citizens did get. The Republicans did not want that, the Democrats did. So that was one of the main sticking points. And now there's more to it, but that's the main thing. I'm not going to go into every detail because this thing is almost 6,000 pages long. 5,996, I think, pages long. And it's just, it's crazy, it's ridiculous. I know these people have to eat too. I understand it. But most of them don't even pay taxes. So why should my tax dollar, my hard-earned money, go to support somebody who is out here legally that doesn't pay taxes, then my taxes have to cover them for their schooling, has to cover their health care and all that stuff. But that's just my opinion, my point of view. But again, my heart does go out to these people because I understand that they too have to eat, they too have to live, they too have light payments, car payments and all that stuff. So my heart goes out to them, it really does. But you know, that's just one of the stipulations that Mitch McConnell did not want to back out on. Now that everything is going through and going to be signed off on, here's a couple things I wanted to make you guys and gals aware of. Like I said, it's 5,593 pages long. $900 billion is going to have to come from somewhere. Here's one of the things that, well, two of the things that really gripes me. Okay, $900 billion, you would think that that would go to local aid. You would think that would go to state aid. Nope. No money for the state. No money for local aid. What is it going to go to? Well, just two things that I'd like to point out to you that I think really needs to have money, as well as our leaders in Congress and Senate. $15 million going to Pakistan. That's right, Pakistan, for democracy studies. Well, let's not stop there. No, we really need to support Pakistan and their fight for democracy so they can learn how to be better to be better American-like. I'll just put it at that. Not only are we going to do that, we're giving them $15 million for that. We're going to give them $10 million for gender relief. What in the Sam hell do we as Americans care about gender relief aid for a country that we do not even live in, Pakistan? That's right. Gender relief aid for Pakistan in the form of $10 million. Absolutely ludicrous and ridiculous. Now, what we are getting, after being told we can't work, our businesses are shut down, millions and millions of people unemployed. What are we getting out of that $900 billion? $600 per person in the household. $600 per adult person in the household. $600 per child in the household. So if you got two adults and one child, that's a total of $1,800. That's not bad considering. But in the grand scheme of things, you're thinking $10 million for gender studies in Pakistan and I'm getting $600? What? Why do we have to support gender studies in another country when we're sitting here in our own country starving, because of a pandemic. We can't work. We can't go out and sell stuff to try to come up with money. We can't get our last. We have to go stand and hope the line doesn't run out of food at the local food drive before we get through there to spend $10 million on gender relief studies so we can get $600. That's just ludicrous. And then $300 additional per week for people that are actually on and lucky enough to be on unemployment. My God, this is just getting ridiculous, everybody. I am so disappointed. Not that they didn't come up with anything. I am super glad that they have come up with this stimulus package that is going to go through. But to sit there and put on extra stuff like gender relief or democracy studies for other countries, excuse me, this should be for us, the American people. And I think each and every one of us ought to remember this whenever it comes up for election time again. Not for president. Every 2 years, half of Congress, half of Senate comes up for re-election. That way we're not left with a whole brand new Congress or whole new Senate. Half of it every 2 years comes up for election. We need to remember this stuff at election time because this is malarkey. It's bull crap. It shouldn't stand. I don't like it. I don't approve of it. I think all $900 billion of it should go to everything in the United States. We're the ones hurting. We're the ones that's going to have to put up with this stuff. We're the ones that's going to have to flip the bill. We're the ones that's going to have to pay for it. The money has to come from somewhere. And this is just, none of this money should be going to other countries. This is a stimulus package, COVID stimulus relief package for us. And for people to sit there and hold on to the money, we should have done had it. For people to sit there and hold on to this money just to hurt the president, another way for them to try to put forth their agenda of bashing the president, making him look like an evil person, making him look like a bad person.
People have already waited for more assistance longer than they could afford. In my judgment, they've waited far too long for a relief package of the same general size and scope that Senate Republicans have been proposing literally since last summer.
When we're sitting here hurting, while you sit there pulling $12 a gallon ice cream out of your $20,000 refrigerator, or going out to eat in an outdoor restaurant, when you're sitting there forcing everybody in your state to be home by 10 o'clock, not be able to go out to a restaurant, not be able to go out, period. And you sit there and here you are. Somebody saw you, got you on video, got you on pictures, eating, not socially distanced, no mask on, in a restaurant. The total hypocrisy of this. And then you got the other person, and you've all seen it. Whenever we get to this video, I'll insert the video clips. You're sitting here, you're telling everybody, no, you can't go get your hair done. You can't do this, you can't do that, you got to shut down. But then you call up, hey, I'm Congresswoman Pelosi, I want to get my hair done. And then you go there knowing that it's wrong.
The science that says you must test, trace, treat, you must wear your mask, you must have sanitation, you must wear your mask, you must wear your mask.
You go in, you can barely stand up. You go walking in without a mask on because you're Congresswoman Pelosi and you want your hair done. Guys and gals, you have no idea how upset I am over all this. It's the total hypocrisy of everything is just ridiculous. But to sit here and blame it on the Republicans, that's all you hear in the media. You got Nancy Pelosi standing up there doing her little hand movements talking about, well, we're trying, but the Republicans don't want to do this. Mitch McConnell has had it on his desk ever since so-and-so. You're 100% correct. Mitch McConnell has had it on his desk for months. What was it? It was the relief bill that they proposed back in June. It wasn't something the Democrats come up with. This was the proposal that the Republicans put forth back in June. And Nancy Pelosi with her little funny hand movements and the media is trying to put off as the Republicans it's on his desk. We're just waiting on them to do it, but they don't want to cooperate. They don't want to do this. They don't want to do that. BS. Every bit of it is nothing but BS. Like I said, Nancy Pelosi did this for nothing but to hurt the president's chances of getting reelected, to put forth the agenda that they've been putting forth the whole time. But I'm not going to get into that because I don't want my channel deleted before I get anywhere with it, so I'll leave it at that. But, you know, that's why I said in the other video, don't take any one side's word for it. Go and look for the evidence yourself. Once these statements are made, all you have to do is go to YouTube, go to Facebook. Don't just do a regular internet search. Go look for the actual video. That's why I wasn't going to put video clips and stuff in this. I was just going to ride and talk. That's the whole thing about it. But I know if I don't, I'm going to have somebody on wanting to argue and pitch a fit about, no, that's not right. That's not what she said. That's not what he said. That's not how it happened. Yada, yada, yada. So rather than just do what I've been planning to do, occasionally I will put a video clip in to support what I'm saying. It's a mess all the way around. Everything has to be politicized. Everything has to be an agenda. Everything has to be weaponized. You know, and like I said, I'll put a video out about this later, about the actual election hypocrisy and everything. But I don't want to right now because I don't want to have my channel locked or even deleted. Not this soon. But with that said, I will get off of here. I just wanted you to hear my point of view. And like I said, I'm going to tell you this every time something like this comes up. Do not believe what the mainstream media tells you. Look up the actual news conference. Look up the actual video of what they said, what they did. There's so much more to it rather than Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, ABC, CBS, NBC, CNN, they're the worst. Pushing agendas, you know. Because all I heard for the longest time was, the relief bill is sitting on Mitch's desk. We've been trying to get the Republicans to deal. The Republicans don't want to deal. BS. I have looked it up. I have watched the videos. I've watched the press conferences. I've watched it all. I know all of that was total BS. Now, with that stated, the Republicans are not clean. Their hands are not clean. Like I said, they did some things too that were biased or had an agenda. I'm not going to say they didn't. Like I said, there's a left, there's a right, and somewhere in between is the truth. So I'm not saying they are completely non-corrupt or not to blame. They are. But Nancy Pelosi out of her own mouth said the reason that this is going to work now is because we have a new president. All the president's got to do is sign off on it. Congress drafts it, Senate agrees to it, president signs off on it, American citizens get the money. It's that simple. Joe Biden is not going to be the one signing it. Period. The current president that we have, Donald Trump, will be the one signing this stimulus package. So what in the world has having a new president got to do with them approving the stimulus bill? Nothing. It all points back to the whole reason she did it, or the Democratic side did it, however you want to look at it, did it to hurt the president. And they succeeded. But again, the Republicans are not clean in this. They have their own things. So I'm going to leave it at that before I go off on a different rant in a different direction. I'm glad everybody liked the first video. I hope you like this video. If you have any suggestions, any comments, I've got enough videos where I could do it for a good year, 2 years. I've got enough ideas in mind already for videos to do to do this for a while. But I don't want y'all to feel left out. I want y'all to have input. Nice yellow Camaro across the street. I want y'all to have input as well. You're gonna get hit, buddy. I want y'all to have input as well. And the orange one's sitting there too. I want y'all to have input as well. So if there's anything you want to hear about, anything you want to discuss, please, by all means, leave it in the comments section below, and I'll get it on as soon as I can, and we'll go with that. So any comments you have, any suggestions you have, anything you want to talk about, anything you want to hear about, by all means. And as far as my videos, if you don't agree with it, that is your strict opinion. Everybody's entitled to their opinion. I welcome your comments to say different below. Just keep them clean. You know, no threatening comments to other members. No threatening comments to me. Or you'll be gone. You'll be blocked. The comment will be deleted. And that'll be the end of it. Because that's not what this channel's about. That's not what we're here for. You know, rational, constructive comments and discussions are wonderful things. We all learn. We should always be willing to learn. And I'll leave it at that. Until next time, I'm going to finish this drive home. I hope you guys and gals enjoyed the video. I thank you for the support for the first video. I welcome all newcomers, and I am so glad everybody that is here is here. I really appreciate each and every single one of you. And we'll see you in the next video. Thank you all so very much for watching.